Happy Friday, everyone. We are halfway through January, if you can believe it. So I want to welcome you all to the first 2021 DMAR Connect. I'm Stacy Schock. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Innovative Real Estate, and I am a former North District Chair. And so I'm thrilled to be here today with everyone to say hi and have some community. I know it's been hard in these times, but I love that DMAR's given us the opportunity to get together, to learn a little bit, and to just be together, which I think is happy. I have a quote that I'd love to start with. It says, "I come in peace, but I mean business." Janelle Monáe. So I feel like that's part of our business. So I would love to get us started this morning by letting you know how great it is to have all of us here today. And we are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance in about 4 minutes. But if anybody has any success stories that they've had with industry partners, it would be great if we had an opportunity to just hear a little bit about some of the success that you're having with your industry partners.
If I could speak up.
Sure.
I have actually met Wendy with Fairway through DMAR as an industry partner, and she referred a client to me, and we're actually closing today on a first-time home buyer. So appreciate Wendy for that.
Thank you.
Angela at Roof Brokers went out for me. My listing inspector said that there was all kinds of hail damage on the roof, and Roof Brokers went out. There was no hail damage, and they certified the roof for us and went out immediately for me.
That is awesome. It's so great to have industry partners that are there on the spot for us. When we do Karen Hyman with 210 Warranty, she has done a great job of handling seller issues during the sale of properties. So I put the home warranty on the properties for the sellers, and Karen is always available to help our clients personally. So I really appreciate that. So thanks, Karen. Anyone else have any success stories? Or there's no houses, so there's no success stories out there, right? I know I was setting up showings this morning for tomorrow, and my clients really wanted to get into a house, but there was only a 15-minute window. So I set up a 15-minute window, and then later in the day, a 30-minute window so that we could go back if we loved it. So it's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. That may or may not be somebody not on mute. Yeah, so I think everybody will be muted. And if you have a comment, then you'll be able to unmute. But we do ask during the speakers that we just stay on mute, put your questions in the chat, and then we will open it up for listings, current listings towards the end of the presentation. So just so you all know how that's going to work. So we are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I don't know, Julie, do we have a flag picture or no? We're just just doing the pledge.
Yes, I did. Sorry about that. That'll be on for February. We'll have a picture. Sorry. Missed that little detail.
That's all right. I feel like Zoom is, we do what we can on Zoom. So if everybody will please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And here's to hoping that we all stay positive and looking forward to what the future holds for us as hopefully we all come together as a nation going forward. And so with that, I am going to introduce our corporate sponsor, which is Chase Bank. And Helen Randall with Chase Bank is here with us today. Thank you so much for sponsoring today, Helen. We love having you here today.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be part of DMAR. We've been part of DMAR for 4 years, and we're excited about sponsoring you guys. And so happy 2021, everyone. I know that 2020 was a challenging year for everyone, but I will tell you, with all the stuff going on, if we have gratitude, we can do anything. I tell people we're one decision away for a different outcome. So one decision that we make, we can have a different outcome. So I am going to talk a little bit about what's going on at Chase. We just got an award from NerdWallet for the best jumbo lender. So we're excited about that. That's one of the things that we do very, very well, our jumbo products. And then we're also recognized for first-time home buyer program. This is a first for Chase. Chase has committed $30 billion to the Black and Latinx community. We have committed to help commercial and help African Americans and Latinos buy homes. So we're committed to that. So that's one of the things that we're focusing on. Our FHA products, if you look at that, their interest rates have dropped tremendously low on the FHA products. We are the best in the world with jumbo products. That's what we do. But we're making sure we leave no one behind. And that is why we're giving that $30 billion, because we want to make sure that everyone's on an equal playing field. So we're very, very excited about that. And we're very excited about the awards that we've got from NerdWallet. And we appreciate DMAR. So if you guys have any questions for me, you can put them in the chat box. I always say life is a journey. Enjoy the journey and have gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Helen. We're
Stacey.
happy to have you with us. Yes.
This is Scott Nordby. Hey, I have a few people reaching out to me that they didn't get signed up in time. They're trying to sign up and get in, but it says that the event is closed. Is there any way to open up the event so people, the realtors that are 5 minutes late to the game, can still get in?
Hey, Scott, if you let them know that they can jump into any of the Facebook groups, there's a link for this Zoom in there.
What's the best Facebook group?
Oh, any of the DMAR Facebook groups have the live link in it right now.
Okay, I'll grab
So
it.
DMAR
and send it
North
out.
District? Scott,
Think it
it's
is.
just DMAR North District is one of the
Yep.
Facebook groups. So
I just
It's
grabbed
also-
it, so I'll grab that and send it out again. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll look into doing that different next time. Thanks.
all right. So see, this is the fun of Zoom. Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm good, Stacy.
It's great to see you.
Those lenders out back to back.
That's all right. Hey, we love our lenders. Without our
Get the
lenders, we
garbage
couldn't
out
get our
first, and then we can get to the real business.
yeah, right. But without you guys, we couldn't get our work done. So we love
Sure.
you, and we're so happy to have you. Sean Simon is with Planet Home Lending, and he is our industry partner spotlight. So we're spotlighting you today, Sean. So the best thing about that is you get to talk about yourself. But I know I've known Sean for quite a while. He's been a great supporter of DMAR and has been a great help to us in lending. He loves to do open houses, right, Sean? So he loves to go out there and assist you in your open houses. So Sean, take it away.
Yes, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Stacy. Thank you all for the opportunity to come speak to you. We all know 2021 is going to be a crazy year, just more of a lot of the same that we saw in 2020. And of course, we need good lender partners to be able to do that. And we all know what that bare minimum standard is, right? We need a partner who's going to respond promptly, who works on the weekends and the nights, who's got all the loan products that you need, that has competitive interest rates, in-house underwriting and processing and closing, services all their loans after closing, doesn't sell them to the big guys, can do a pre-approval in the same day, right? That's all the minimum stuff. So of course I can do all of those things, but my team is really focused on growing business in order to earn business. And so my goal is, when I receive a referral, is I want to turn that referral into 5 to be able to send back to the agent by continually marketing and creating a relationship with your clients that extends beyond the closing. I'm really obsessed with helping my realtors figure out how to sell in this new environment that we're going to see in 2021. And I've actually put together some great information on the market trends and consumer habits of 2021. So I'm going to invite anyone who's interested in learning more about what it's going to look like to market to this new consumer in this really competitive market that we're going to see. Because 2021 is really going to be a building year. It's going to be all about breaking down barriers and creating relationships with people now. Because 2022, when hopefully a lot of these things are behind us and we start to see inventory open up that we learned in our economic summit last week, we're gonna see 2022 be a boom year. And by that time, it'll be too late to have created those new habits and relationships. So that's what I would love to help you focus on. And it definitely goes beyond open houses, right? Because open houses this year are gonna be really tough. And people are probably still scared to go to them. So we've put together some great strategies, my partner Josh and I, of how we can attack the market and the new consumer as we head into this crazy year of 2021. So I'll put my contact info in the chat. Just reach out with an email. Like, I'd love to know more about how I can handle these new 2021 trends. And I'd love to have a conversation with you about how I can. So thank you all so much for having me today.
Thanks, Sean. Really appreciate it. Do you mind telling us, I'm going to put you on the spot, but do you mind telling us how you've benefited from being a member of the Denver Metro Association?
Yeah, so I'm one of those losers who transferred to Denver and made the traffic worse, right? But luckily I didn't come from California, I came from Florida. So I moved to Denver 2016, I'll never forget, because we had the election. And so when I came to Denver, I didn't know anybody. I just knew I wanted that Rocky Mountain lifestyle. I wanted to live here. And DMAR was my first opportunity to plug into the market here and get real estate connections. So DMAR is the only reason I'm here, 4+ years later, and can say that, I've created relationships. I have partners that I trust, both realtors and other industry partners. It's been really great just from, I've made mentors, not just business connections. I've made friends as well. So I really contributed all to the organization and how well connected we all are and how willing we are to help each other out as members of DMAR.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I remember when you came to that first marketing meeting in the North District, and it was great to meet you, and it's great to see you here still. I think one of the things that we all miss are those in-person marketing meetings, but I think that DMAR's done a great job of helping us connect through different education and meetings like this, Zoom meetings like this. So we're excited to hear more from Nobu in a little bit about the DMAR updates, but thanks so much for being here, Sean, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate all our industry partners for what they do for us to help support us in the work we do, helping people realize their real estate dreams. So thank you. Well, without further ado, I am going to introduce you all to our speakers today. I feel like we are so fortunate to have Steve Murray with Real Trends here today. Steve is a veteran of the real estate industry. He's a senior advisor of Real Trends and has earned his credibility by having been in residential real estate field since 1977. He's also co-authored 4 books on the valuation of residential real estate brokerage firms, co-authored the 2011 book Game Plan about the past and future of residential brokerage, and co-authored the 2014 book Game Changers, the unfounded fears and future prosperity of the residential real estate business. So Steve, we're really excited to hear from you today. And also we have our fearless leader, Nobu Hata. He's our CEO. He joined DMAR in 2020 from his previous position with the National Association of Realtors as the Director of Industry Outreach and Engagement Strategy. Real estate industry veteran since 1996, Nobu is a dynamic real estate association professional with a member-first leadership philosophy. In his previous role as the Director of Industry Outreach and Engagement Strategy for NAR, Nobu served as a Realtor brand ambassador to industry stakeholders, which included association staff and executive leadership, state and local member leadership, brokerage owners, technology companies, and the 1.3 million members of NAR. So that tells us how strong we are as an organization. Before joining NAR, Nobu was a realtor, which is great. And he was with Edina Realty in Minneapolis, and then a founding member of the Minneapolis Association of Realtors. So happy to have you here with us, Nobu. We're excited for your leadership and look forward to hearing from you today also. So please take it away.
Awesome. Stacy, thank you so much. Steve, thank you so much. And frankly, I'd like to thank all of you guys for getting up on a Friday morning and hanging out on Zoom with us. We've got 314 people who have showed up, which is, I think, 300% more than the last Connect meeting we had. So it's great. Thank you for this. And I'd like to think that it's all about Steve, because Steve's awesome. And we'll be bringing you a lot more of this type of top-notch content over the course of the next couple of years here. So thank you for joining us. Steve and I are, we've been nerds about real estate for a while. And I think Steve and I, if Steve, you're cool with this, we'll have a conversation about 2020 and what is going forward in 2021. What do you think?
You look at all the economic forecasts that talk about housing sales in 2021 will be up nationally 4 to 7% units and roughly the same pricing. And frankly, there are those of us who are not trained economists who are looking at the basic data and scratching our heads and figuring out how's that supposed to happen. You had, obviously 2020, although the last 5 months of 2020 was spectacular, if you were an agent engaged in the business, you were a mortgage lender, a title service rep. Whatever you were doing, the last 5 months was extraordinary. But throughout the United States right now, it doesn't matter what market we're looking at, with the exception of a few pockets in some major cities, there is simply the most record low inventory anybody could ever have imagined. And that's, you ask the question, it's got to have an impact on how much real estate we can sell. We have, if you've been watching credit markets the last week, you may note that the 10-year benchmark bond has drifted up 30 to 40 basis points in the last 10 days. A lot of mortgage products are, their pricing is based off the 10-year. A lot of people understand that. The whole counter of this is there is more money sloshing around our economy right now looking for a place to go, that most experts say rates may go up a little, but they're not like going up hugely, because there is just an overwhelming supply of money versus what is whether it's corporate lending or commercial lending and various other parts of the financial community. So bottom line is, I think that given the inventory issue and rates remaining relatively stable, near record lows, we certainly have everything in place except for inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's going to go away. Maybe we could start with 2020.
Yeah.
These were issues that were kind of showing their heads, becoming more and more amplified. But then COVID happened, and it seemed as if it accelerated, right? These issues were magnified, and then you had the issues of folks moving. Maybe let's start off with the brokerage perspective. That is your wheelhouse, right? What has been the big takeaways from 2020 with the brokerage leaders that you talk to on a day-to-day basis?
Well, there's a few basic things. I won't cover all the stuff that's going on, but first of all, a lot of brokers in the United States of America, all shapes, sizes, brands, locations, had the most profitable year in their history. And in the total gross commission income paid out by consumers in the sale and purchase of housing, I haven't got all the numbers in yet. We'll be getting them in over the next month. It probably established a new record and just blew 2005 out the door. Even though the average rate is down from where it was back then, the volume, because of prices and units, has gone through the roof. Number two, those brokerage companies who some point in the past invested in core services, in having related mortgage, title, escrow, property management, they also had record years in those businesses. So it was, I've been consulting with brokers since 1987. I have never seen the kind of results we've seen for calendar 20, never seen that. And it was explosive, because in the spring, smart brokers cut cost as we hit March and April. They were cutting cost because nobody knew where it was going. And then when the market came back, there you go. So it was kind of a double whammy. Number two, the merger and acquisition market for residential brokerage firms, and I might add teams also, is exploded. And we have never been as busy as we've been in our 34 years of doing this work. We are basically have been running at capacity for 6 months in valuations and helping people buy and sell brokerage companies, and increasingly teams. We're beginning to handle a lot more teams.
I got it from the point of view from the agent team point of view. It's the exact same thing, right? Volume went up, units moved actually may have been stable or went down, right? What was sold was value wise just off the charts. You brought up a really good point just now. Smart brokerages, agents, and teams cut costs in the spring. Do you have any idea what it is trend-wise that you saw that they cut out? Because what I saw was a lot of extraneous, they cut out lead generation, a lot of kind of the stuff that frankly was fluff that they just spent stupid money on. They started to spend smarter money. What did you see?
Same thing. I mean, we started giving guidance back in mid-March. People ask us, groups of brokers and so on and so forth, what would you do? And I said, go through your P&L, and anything that is not going to help you get a new customer or client or close a transaction, stop spending it. Now, brokerage companies are going through the same thing that employers are. They're re-examining the whole equation about office space, right? And we're hearing all over, more and more brokers are either getting rid of, shrinking the number of offices, or they're reorganizing their office space. Whatever was left in print advertising just got killed off for a lot of people. There was still, surprisingly, a lot of institutional print ads, and a lot of brokers just said, look, that doesn't produce customers and clients and closings. Let's focus on training and technology. So the big shift was, we cut over here But those brokers who suddenly they thought they had good tech platforms found they didn't. There was a rush to get platforms for virtual tours, for integrating transactions, because everybody around the country, to some extent or another, had to start learning how to do everything remotely.
Yeah.
So I mean, what did you see? I mean, you're sitting in a place to watch all this.
Yeah, exactly right. To me, it was exactly that. They turned into a qualitative versus quantitative methodology, right? So everything was about not necessarily accumulation of cold leads, for example. It was curation of these warm leads and earning mind share and training agents to ensure that they are the tip of the spear when it comes to that customer and then client care.
Yeah.
So it was a very much a concerted pivot to we want to up the quality, right? And which coincided a lot with the other things we'll be talking about, the Department of Justice, commission lawsuits, and all the other things, right?
Yeah.
So there was very much a coming to terms with who are we as a brand, whether you're an agent, a team leader, or a brokerage. Who
Right.
are we? Who do we serve? And how can we do this better in a time that we have to now because of our having to quarantine and work remotely? And exactly as feel the same way. I mean, this rush to remote, this rush to Zoom. Do you see more and more of that happening? I don't want to build this stuff anymore. I don't want to spend the money anymore. I want to team up with better partners.
Yeah, I mean, look, the brokerage industry is, as traditional established brokerages, doesn't matter which brands we're talking about or models. You're looking at massive investments, whether it's Remax or Keller Williams or independent brokers. But the fact is, almost all of them, most of the money is buying, not building.
Yeah.
Or partnering, not building. It is just, people think, well, I can build a tool for what? Name a number, $500,000, $1 million, but they forget. And then it takes another $250,000 to $500,000 every year to keep it up to speed and enhancing, because there's new tools coming into our industry, as has been the case for the last 15 years or 20. It's just like every day you wake up, there's a new app or a new tool or a better transaction platform or a better CRM. So we find more and more brokers, and what they are looking for is someone who can kind of be the contractor to make sure all these pieces work together. Because they've now learned, imagine a lot of agents who are on here learn the hard lessons too, which is you have suppliers out there go, oh yeah, we integrate with everyone, but they forget to tell you what the cost of integration is or who's going to pay for it.
Yeah, to me, that sea change in personnel and people, that investment in people, is going to be huge. It's getting these corporate guys who may not have sold a house to get in touch with folks who can through people who have done it before. And I'll tell you from personal experiences before I came out here, the amount of job offers I had for that exact position was through the roof, right? From many applications.
How to make this work, but the thing I noticed this year, and part of what our conversations since mid-March, I don't know how many interactions I had, say it was 150 Zoom calls with groups of brokers and or their agents, is the emphasis. The smart people understood something important, which is when you get this kind of environment, starting with COVID and then the civil unrest and the election year and the economy and everything that's been going on. I appreciated the young woman's comments from Chase about gratitude, and you're one decision away from making it a better day, right? We told people that in times like these, it is more important to get closer to your family, your friends, your clients, and your customers, and your fellow agents if you're a broker. It's more important that you have more contact, not less. Now, did we use Zoom? Yeah, we did. The big sea change in our industry is we have found, agents found it that I've talked to, teams, brokers. You know what? This remote communication, which we all dabbled at before all this happened, has now become a permanent part of our environment. Yes, will we go back to in-person gatherings, regular old sales meetings? Yes, we will get back to that. But in terms of being able to, like you're doing right here, like DMAR has set up to do right now. I mean, 2 years ago, we'd never have this kind of participation. People want to connect, they want to hear. And so my guidance to brokers and to agents and teams is, and we're still there, we're still in a very confusing, kind of challenging environment for people. This is when you get close, you stay in touch more, you get in touch more, and people will remember that you reached out just to see how they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of what Sean mentioned. Yeah, we've been talking about relationships in this business for 100 years, you know, as long as we've been around in this thing. Very seldom did people actually follow through with that. Now is the time to put up or shut up when it comes literally to this idea about relationships. What does that mean going forward? In a time when, frankly, you've got a lot of folks who are just like, I'm good with like seeing you on the Facebooks and the TikToks and the Clubhouse or whatever people are using now. You know, one of the things that did come up, Stephen, with people that I talked to, and something that I think is going to have a prolonged effect on this business, is this Amazon effect of real estate. Amazon made billions over the last 6 months, but the idea about what that actually means in real estate is evolving, right? NAR stat said that it went from literally 36% to almost 90% last year, that consumers factored in the idea of a one-stop shop experience in their decision making. You know, what does that mean now from the brokerage point of view and from the team and agent point of view to think about streamlining using partnerships within the industry to make the transaction go?
Everything I've read indicates that insofar as the agent, we've talked about this, right, for 20 years, keep the agent in the center of the transaction. And I think historically agents would have partners, they'd have their favored mortgage lenders or title reps or inspectors. And I transacted twice or three times in 2019 as my wife and I downsized. And the agent coordinated, not just said, oh, here's my favorite, title company. They coordinated all of it and kept me posted and stayed in touch with those suppliers. And I think that's what you just brought up. Now, can you use that? We're seeing the platforms are starting to merge finally, and people don't understand there's been huge regulatory barriers to mortgage, title, and brokerage all sharing customer data on one platform. Now those are starting to be dissolved or dealt with, so that you can have one platform to track all that's going on in your transaction yourself through a secure portal. Great. But really, for an agent, if I was an agent, I would not just rely on those kind of platforms. I would keep myself up to speed on the actual mortgage, what's going on with the mortgage, what's going on with homeowners insurance, inspections. And I had a great experience selling this home, buying this one, sold a couple of rental properties back in 19, had a great agent. I never felt like I didn't need to think about it myself, because when I needed to do something, my agent personally was with text or email or phone call saying, this is what we need to do now, or this is what I would recommend you do now. So, you know what? Nobu, you're much more knowledgeable about me of the emergence of these integrated platforms. How do you think that works with an agent going forward?
I think, and this is when I want to preface this with that I'm sorry if you guys will take this the wrong way, but I think we need to just do a better job of marketing and telling the story of what we do much better than now, because this whole idea about what this Amazon effect is we've been already doing it in real estate. But what we have done is thought that it's the entry point in a time now when consumers now are expecting to be notified and told of everything that's going on from everyone involved in it, right? Consumers want to be part of this journey. And I think that's what I think Amazon does a really good job of, man. You go on that site, you can see everything that you saw and viewed before, up to the point of like them upselling you for the thing that you're thinking about buying now, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's we have to get out of our own way as real estate people, brokerage leaders, team leaders, and whatnot, and start letting the people that make these experiences go shine through and tell that story right now. Rethink marketing in many respects. You know, a really good example of this, my wife, I don't know if you knew this or not, but my wife is a top 1% agent in Chicago. She is next week doing a first-time homebuyer seminar with her mortgage person, her title person, her lawyer, and her inspector. She's got 500 people signed up for this thing over Zoom. You know, so these are the things that you know, I think if we got out of our own way as real estate people and started bringing the team up, no matter who it is, no matter what banner that they fly, and say, this is the person that's going to be in charge of X, Y, and Z. This is the person that's going to be in charge of this experience at this point. You let people know about this, we wouldn't have a problem with all this disruption that's happening out there. Because if there's anything that has been shown over the last 6 months, is that people are willing to pay a hell of a lot more for that type of service. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're willing to give up the preconceived notions of what real estate was in order to like, hey, you know what? I trust you. This is not about a value proposition anymore. It's a trust proposition that we need to be talking about to consumers going forward, especially in this market, right? So it's really good stuff, Steve. You know, I'm glad that what you're hearing, what I'm seeing and feeling with my wife and out there, it's coming to fruition.
I mean, and I think I shared this last year sometime with some of your folks who this may be repeating something, but you know, we every 4 years or so, Real Trends partners with Harris Insights, well-respected research firm, to look at recent buyers and sellers of houses. And let me repeat a few key things in case people forgot. The usage of agents by consumers has been going straight uphill for the last 20 years and hit a high of 90-something% a couple of years ago. And millennials, by the way, were using agents more than their parents are, right? And so we got all these myths that people publish. Oh, people are just going to do it on an app. Well, it doesn't seem to be happening. Are they doing homework? You bet. Are they doing their own? Yeah, they're examining mortgages and houses and markets and neighborhoods. But funny enough, it's still mostly for buyers and sellers of houses. It's about a relationship with an agent to help them get through the deal. And especially with, you know, I saw on our list, you know, and I'm going to gloss over it, the whole DOJ and, you know, NAR, and we're going to be publishing commissions for public to look at. Well, you know what? I talked to the leading brokers in Seattle who did this 2 years ago. And let me just tell you all, Katie will do a better job of it. But I talked to the biggest brokers in Seattle, John L. Scott, Windermere, those guys. Yeah, I said, what's happened? And they said, nothing. It's almost like the biggest non-event, because we were all scared to death when we said, we're going to get ahead of this and do it. Nothing's changed. Yeah. And one last thing to share. What we also went through last year, and it will continue this year, a couple of interesting pieces of data. Before COVID, 6 to 7% of white collar workers worked most or all of their time from a home office. That number, best number estimates from October, November, between 26 and 32% are now working most or almost all their time from a home office. Most experts indicate it's not going back to 6 or 7. It might revert back to the low 20s. But what this means is demographically, for all of agents who are with us today, a lot of people now have the right to take their work where they want to live. And I have, in our industry, I have executives at Realogy and at Redfin and Zillow and people like that. They've gone all over the place, and they move from high cost to low cost. And this, I called it the Great Migration of 2020. It was like 500,000 families above what would normally have moved, picked up and moved. And that is continuing. And so if you think about your practice and you think about your clients and customers, staying in touch with them is more important, because it's not this normal every 7 to 9 years or whatever the number is. People are going to think about upsizing, downsizing because of they have kids home or the kids have left home, or no, and they don't have to relocate for a job anymore. Or they can personally relocate. They can go from the tech center and they can move to Elizabeth. And they can afford a lot. They can have ground, they can have, a horse, and they can pay half as much or a third as much as the tech center cost.
Yeah,
that is going to continue to happen.
Great. That's a great, I think, segue to 2021. By the way, guys, if you want to put your questions in the chat there, I'll be sure to ask it. I do have the first-time home buyer question on my radar to ask Steve. But thinking about 2021, thinking about that, you look at Denver, right, where our economists speaking last week at our economic summit basically said that it's the outsiders, these folks that are driving the cost of housing up. You got locals that can't afford it because salaries here may not match what needs to happen in order to afford homes. So it's going to take longer for locals to buy home. But you've got what the Denver metro looks like going forward. You've got people, like you mentioned, moving here in droves. I'm one of them. My wife has got 3 clients moving out here because of that. It is so much cheaper. What is in your mind the impact when it comes to marketing, right? When you're not just marketing Denver real estate and your services and your solutions and your products to locals anymore. It's these folks who are coming in from California, parts of Texas, New York, Chicago, where I've seen is the biggest one, right? And then regionally, from Boise, where it's almost like it is here in Boise in terms of affordability.
Yeah.
How do you think that we should be rethinking marketing to start attracting these folks?
We first of all know that from studies, roughly 2/3 of all consumers pick an agent because they know one or someone referred them. Okay, so if you're with a brokerage company that's attached to a national network, it behooves you to, and the Census Bureau has data, by the way, of where most of the people are coming from that are coming to Denver. Go to census.gov something and look at like Denver County or Arapahoe or Jeffco, it'll tell you where the people are coming from that are moving to those counties. So then maybe, little thinking is you're going to stay in touch then through some marketing with your fellow broker in those other markets and the agents there. Okay, that's one idea, right? Another thing to note is that so roughly 1/3 of all consumers don't have a personal connection. Where are they looking? They're looking online for an agent at places like Facebook. They're Googling. They're going to Zillow or Realtor.com. If you don't have your profile pages up, if you don't have client references up there, that's 1/3 of the market.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1/3. Consumers, by the way, when I said they chose an agent because they know one, but well over half of every demographic group, once they have a referral to an agent, or even if they know one, they're going online to Facebook, Google, Yelp, other places. What can I find out about this agent? And by the way, when they get there, what they really want to know is they want evidence that you are professional, that not how much business you've done necessarily interesting, but interesting enough, they tend to want to look at how long have you been doing this? What's your experience in the business? I mean, it makes it tougher for brand new agents, but for experienced people, it's one of those high level things that consumers look at when they go to look at the profile.
And actually, from the brand new agent point of view, I tell you, this is when aligning yourself with a strong brand in some way, whether it's a realtor brand, your brokerage brand, really talking about that type of value from that point of view is massive. You nailed it, right? I mean, how much? One of the big training pieces that I've been seeing is how to get your freaking social media and Yelp presence up to date. That's like the low hanging fruit right now. For agents.
And that's for that part of the market, and also to reinforce your professionalism, your experience, what you care about.
Yeah, the whole idea about authenticism now is huge. People can Google you till they're blue in the face to find all the BS. So don't be afraid to lead with what you're good at. Lead with the people that have made you successful. One of the best tools that I use to this day still is Google Trends, trends.google.com. Write all that stuff down, guys. I can actually see right now, and I did it every quarter as an agent, and now I do it monthly as a CEO do for you guys. I can see where people are looking for Denver real estate. I can see it, and right now it's regional. You can see what they're looking for, and I can pivot marketing to try to attract them. It's regional, West Coast, right? People in Washington, people in Denver. They are people in California. They're fleeing the high tax and I think a little bit of the socioeconomic issues are cropping up to come here, right? But I would also mention what we have here in the Denver metro area is both the mix of these high dollar CEOs buying their second homes because it's a good time to do it up in the mountains, right? But you also have their service centers, their call folks, their lower rung employees allowed to move to markets like this to go ahead and buy a home because you've seen it. What does $1 million get you in the Bay Area? It looks like a shack. $1 million here gets you a ton. Half of that gets you a nice house. A quarter of that gets you something that you had more space for in, right?
It's but I mean, it's even as I tell people now and then, I mean, at our consulting at Real Trends Consulting, we do valuations, mergers and acquisitions. So as I tell people, I'm a listing agent, just like you are. And my listings are brokerage companies for sale all over the US and Canada. One of the things we started, I used to never want, because of confidentiality, I would never say anything about the fact when we represented someone. Right? One of the things we started about 3.5 years ago, my team said, you can't keep hiding. You need to tell people in some fashion. What we started doing that's been incredibly effective marketing is we post on our LinkedIn and Facebook corporate pages and stuff. All we simply say is after an announcement has been made, like I think Tuesday of this week, it was announced that Windermere of Seattle had acquired a large brokerage in Sacramento. We represented the seller. All we said was in our releases on our Facebook medias, we were honored to represent the Lyon family in the sale of the company to Windermere, period. When we started doing that, that has a lot to do with brokers see that either on Facebook or LinkedIn or just general in our communications. It's very simple. It honors our client. It tells them how we felt about being selected to use it. And we have gotten enormous increase in inquiries, people going, you were involved in that? Or you did that one? We put sold signs, right? Typically a realtor would, put a sold sign in a yard, and that's an effective thing to do. Don't forget to do it on your social media.
Yeah.
And do it professionally, and that's what we do. We were honored to represent the family in the sale of their residence at 70944 Forest Ridge Circle. If you have questions about the transaction or that neighborhood.
I would even go a step further with that. Everyone has got a listing that's going to sell in 2 seconds, right? The bigger story is how did you partner up with your seller to position them to be able to help them sell their home in 2 seconds? Right. Because I don't know about you, like my wife markets every day. I used to market as an agent. It takes 80 hours of work to get a home ready to sell in 2 seconds. which
Yeah.
when you think about that from a marketing point of view and even the brokerage point of view, that is a compelling story because folks think that all we do is stick signs in the ground, right? So, market that stuff, think outside the box. Let's go to Q&A, Steve, if you're cool
Yep,
with that.
got it.
First-time home buyers have come up a lot, so how do you get them to compete? I've got my own opinions working with them. What do you think about?
I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have two young sons in the early 30s here in Denver Metro. The only way they were going to get into the market is we helped them.
Yep.
I mean, it's
that to me, I think is the big one, right? Is you're seeing more and more of
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but your generation cashing out equity on the homes that you do have and helping kids buy their first home because it takes so much. To me, I think when you think about the overall narrative, it's a lack of decisiveness that the first-time home buyers tend to have. And that's where I think we can come in with our team, mortgage people, title people, and everyone and say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, this is a very emotional and stressful decision. We are here to help you with that because, tempering expectations is a part of that, because at the end of the day, what you have are folks who were, they don't think about the fact that the house that they want to sleep on today is the one that's sold at that same time frame.
I mean, a family we've known my wife and I have known for 20 plus years. They have a very bright daughter who just got out of pharmacy school, and she asked me about it, and I said, you know what? You're in your first year of working. She's making very good income. But she said, what would you recommend? I said, look, if you can tolerate it for 6 months or 8 or 9 months, your parents have offered to let you live in their home and save as much as you can, because it's not just the down payment. It's not. I also advised her that there are, and I don't know them all, but I said, if you go Google it, there are all kinds of first-time homebuyer assistance programs available, both profit and nonprofits, that will help with down payment assistance or closing cost assistance. But I said, you ought to catch your breath. Look, you got a great job, but you need to put a savings account together, even if you find someone else to help you with down payment, because that's just the start of what home ownership's about. I mean,
what's funny about that conversation, it's very unique. It brings back this whole idea about local and real estate. A really good example of that is I've got friends out in the Bay Area now who are actually talking about how much money you're saving by not having a car, right?
Yeah.
And how much of that payout can go into the savings program, so that by the time you wake up in a year or two, you've got a pretty good chunk of change for a down payment.
Yeah.
Here you got an opportunity for all of that, from not only kind of the folks who are looking downtown in condos, but the suburb homes where you're seeing. I actually don't buy this idea about this flight to the suburbs. I think there's always going to be a demand for inventory no matter where you go. But tell people we've got these options. This is how you save. The fact of the matter is, NAR did a study last year about it. Most consumers think that they have to have a massive chunk of change to do it, but they don't know that 3.5% is still FHA for a down payment, which is pretty dang good. And FHA is a really pretty good mortgage program. Deal. So I think Sean and Helen from Chase can chime in on that. All right, next, another question that came up. How sustainable is this market? Look at 2021. All sense is that it's going to be like 2020, if not crazier. How long?
Here's the fundamentals. I mean, we're still producing between 1.3 and 1.5 million net new households a year in the United States. Okay. And we haven't built that many new single family or multifamily housing. We haven't gotten close to that number for the last 10 years. So there's a combined deficit of between 3.5 and 5 million housing units in the country compared to the number of households being created. And that number is going to accelerate now even further. So, you got massive demand and limited supply. And you got I'm sure there's some old timers like me on the phone call. I mean, you go back when I was, in my, late 20s, early 30s, we thought if we could ever get a mortgage at 10%, it'd be like nirvana. I mean, so you have the lowest cost mortgage money in 70 years. And you have this huge surge of new households being built. I mean, except for the supply problem, this would be just a market without. Now, here's the thing we have to watch in Denver. We have now been running for a decade where the average price of a home has increased in value faster than the average household income. That can only go on for so long. That can only go on before you just get a calming as people just say, I can't afford it. I can't afford it now. And you do have the problem, like you say, especially highly compensated people coming from Chicago, Minneapolis, the coast, New York, wherever it might be, because this is still a bargain where they're coming from. It's not a bargain for people who grew up here and want to stay here unless they also got a really good paying job. There's all these factors that kind of balance things out a little bit, but here's the truth. I mean, we've been here for 31 years now. I've traveled this country and Canada for 40 years, been to every town I could think of more than once. There's really not much better place to live in the country than this part of the world. The Front Range, Colorado.
I will say, y'all's weather is weird. Can you just decide on one thing, please? I'd like for it to be 60 degrees for an extended period of time. To me, I think what I'm watching is this influx of people coming here, and you nailed it. I think those are the folks that are driving this, and I'm watching search queries, whether or not they peter off and then die off. Because to me, that's the leading indicator of whether or not these folks will actually move here. And right now, they just keep going up from month to month. What I've seen. Yeah. So Ewan, who asked that question, I think it's a fantastic one. But that's what I'm watching, and hopefully I can team up with Ari Colorado and my friends at NAR to kind of take that data, turn it into usable information for you guys.
Yeah, we could solve the whole problem if we could build 50,000 new homes in 2021 in the Denver metro area. But I'm sure that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing we'll also be watching as well is will the workforce come back, right? Well, can we satiate the demand for blue collar workers that we need right now across the country to build these things? We got the land. We can work towards the regulatory issues to kind of take the cost to build these homes a little lower, which that to me is something we'll look out for as well as we come out of COVID. But very complicated things. At least in new construction, to me, if what we're doing at DMAR with the YPN a new construction insider, get that stuff out there, because being a new construction expert is one of those things right now where you need to start marketing, because at least we've got it here. I come from Chicago where you don't have it.
Well, it's so the things that I'm concerned with, and I don't have exact numbers on it, but it's 7 to 9 million renters who are people who, many of whom one day want to be homeowners. And 7 to 9 million of them took advantage of rent moratoriums. And there are some estimates that the total deferred rent is $70 billion in the United States. I don't, I read about the new stimulus bill they're talking about last night, And they're talking about extending that moratorium another, I think, 6 or 8 months. Well, so, and we're housing professionals. Everybody on this call is in the housing business, not just selling and buying homes, although primarily that's where we make our incomes, but we're in housing and shelter. And what the heck plans do we have, whether it's the state of Colorado or the city of Denver or DMAR or realtor organizations? What are we going to do? How are we going to prepare ourselves to deal with 7 to 9 million renters who will never be able to catch up? I'm dealing with, and I bring it up because I've got 2 of those that are members in our church. They lost their jobs because of COVID. They've used the unemployment, but it's not enough to cover rent. So they're deferring rent. Now what are they going to do?
Yep.
Now what are they going to do? And then, I feel lucky for some crazy reason. I sold my 2 rental properties in 2019. But what about the 8 million Americans that own 1 or 2 residential properties, that rental income is part of their retirement or part of their investment plan to put their kids through school or whatever it might be? And the federal government just nationalized the housing market and said nobody has to pay rent. And you can't evict anybody. What about the men and women that own those investment properties, the 8 million of them that own 1 or 2, not big people, and all of a sudden nobody has to pay them rent?
Yep. We'll be watching that from at least from DMAR's point of view. We'll be watching that.
Yeah.
Because we do have a full-time GAD that is watching these issues. Protect the property owners as best as possible. Educate the hell out of the folks that are being impacted as much as we can, together with the help of our broker owners and our members out there. But then also, create at least a path, right? Because the path to home ownership is all the other little nuances of life that we just kind of gloss over, right?
Yeah.
Saving, learning how to save, financial literacy, and all that other stuff. So, we have a committee. And if anybody out there wants to help out with this, say, shoot me a text or a message. We're happy to help you out with this, because this is something that we are cognizant of as well. Just because what we don't want is home ownership to look like an elitist thing, which that's at this point is what it looks like more and more of, right? Another question that's coming up, I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but I know these folks. Zillow is now a broker. They pivoted really quickly that last year into becoming a brokerage. A couple folks have asked them what's the impact. I'll tell you right now, from what we've seen, is nothing, because they've been a realtor here for about 3 months now. So your thoughts, maybe from the brokerage point of view, if you're a team leader point of view.
If Zillow can get as good and effective as Redfin is at converting online traffic to closings, then if it all works out perfectly for them and they execute perfectly, at least as well as Redfin does, then Zillow could 5 to 7 years from now be a national real estate company ranked 7th in the US. I've done all the math on it. It's not hard to figure out the math. And the thing that Zillow set out to do, and Rich Barton, who I've had the pleasure of spending some time with, he's a disruptor. Everything about him is to disrupt and completely change an industry. By going into the brokerage business, whether with his own salaried people or on a referral basis, he's saying that's not going to happen. The agent is still the most important part of the whole process. There's no other conclusion you can have.
Yeah, competition in my mind is a good thing, keeps you on your toes. I think you can learn a lot of lessons from any of these guys, frankly. They're pretty damn nimble, so don't get caught up in your own bad habits. Be nimble. I used to, as an agent, and the team leaders and agents I talk to now, do quarterly checkups. What could we be doing different, right? That's the easy thing you can do. And I think the big one, strive to become a verb. I think that's the big one that we can all do. Zillow's a verb, Redfin's a verb. You got all these folks that are verbs. Amazon's a verb. You need to be a verb, man. Go out there, be a verb, and educate the hell out of people, inundate them with information that folks didn't know to Google, which, I'm looking in my mind, that could have made my transition here a little easier. All right, so let's keep going. Appraisal gap. This is an interesting one. Thoughts on appraisal gaps. We see homes sell about 7 to 15% over list price, but have no data on the appraisal value. How does that affect the long-term marketplace for resale, or is that not important?
I will claim to have no expertise on how that's going to impact the housing market. I just don't.
What's been interesting about the appraisal industry in general, and apologies to the appraisers that are out there, but man, you're going to see a lot too, Steve, when you go into these Housing Wire fintech things. The amount of fintech that comes with algorithms on desktop appraisals. The big issue right now is how quickly they can get done. And boy, you're seeing. I'm refinancing my house here and my income property in Chicago, and neither of them are going to require a in-person appraisal, right? So, for me, I think you'll see the gap narrow, and if anything, you'll see, you might see the appraisal being almost a more kind of real value of what's out there. But maybe Sean and anyone else can jump in. What have you guys been seeing with gaps? Have there been any shortfalls? I've not heard too much from the agents that I talked to here, but if there is, Sean, just let me know. All right. So instead of rentals, rent. Man. Okay, well, let's keep going. Oh, here, Denver Post is saying that our market will stall out and be bad in 2021. I don't believe this. What do we? Well, the Denver Post story actually came from our economic summit. Let's talk about the word bad. It's not going to be bad or stall out. I just think it's just gonna. It sounds like it's going to plateau.
No, bad is 1989 and 90. Bad is 1981, 82. Bad is 2009 and 10. Bad is not, even if we had a 5% drop in unit sales in Denver, for real estate agents who have really got their head in this bit, this is their career and they're good at this, it's almost like you wouldn't notice it. What we have noticed, and what we noticed clear back in June and July, we did some work with about a half a dozen brokerage companies, and then we looked at their economics in the fourth quarter. It's clear that one of the things that happened last year was the really top people, top agents and teams, they grabbed market share.
Yep.
And you know what? If the market backs up a little bit, they're just gonna double down on their efforts. And that's what I would tell any professionals listening in on this. Everybody does fine if the market's going up 10 or 15%. You really find out if you're up to it when it's flat or going down 5%.
Do you think you're going to see?
I don't think that'll happen. But you know what? I will tell you, for everybody listening, I will tell you, after 2020, I'm no longer in the long-term prediction business. I have no earthly idea. I can tell you the demographics and the money supplies and all that, but if we didn't learn to be prepared for the unexpected after the year we just all lived through together, then we didn't learn the most important lesson, which is you need to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yep.
Whether it's, it's like somebody asked you, well, do you think, will COVID get solved? How would I know? My wife and I both got COVID in December, and I had a runny nose for 2 days. She had a wickedly bad cold for 10 to 12 days. We quarantined. We've checked our antibodies. We're flush with antibodies. The doc said you don't need to worry about vaccine, but we're still living the same way. We're spending most of our time at home. If we go out, we're wearing a mask and we're distancing and we're being careful, even though we're basically, kind of safe. We're not contagious right now.
Yeah.
But what else could happen?
Yeah, I think that's the weird part about this industry. I think so many of us strive for certainty that I don't think we will have anymore with the volatility in the market. the economics. But what we can do as broker leaders, as team leaders, and as agents is to help lend confidence in the market, help lend confidence in community, and know that what drew me to this market is the fact that you know there's a lot of growth to be had here. I hit almost for NAR every single state, and there is no other state that I saw that matched what Colorado and Denver Metro has to offer. Let's take pride in that and go from there. You know, we got one more minute, Steve. What is your what's your best advice for people looking to navigate 2021? What are one or two things that you were telling your agents who will talk to you and brokers who will talk to you about what they can do right now to be successful in 2021?
Hang up from here and make a list of all your family and friends and your best clients and customers, and use the old technology. Call them on the phone, ask them how they're doing. Is there anything you can do to help them? That's number one. Number two, preserve capital. Preserve capital. Don't spend money you don't have to spend on stuff. And third, become an expert, not just a surface level talker, but a real expert on the market.
Perfect.
Like dig in and learn what's going on in the markets you serve, and take some real time to study it. That's the three things I would do.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much. I would echo that. We, DMAR, we have the stats and the data that you guys, and the partnership that you guys need to succeed. Turn that into wisdom for your buyers and your sellers and your customers out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this 45 minutes. I loved anytime I could talk to Steve about real estate. Man, it's good. We need to do this over beer sometime.
You're too kind. Thank you all.
Right.
Thank you for the honor.
And then next month,
thank you.
Next month, we're going to have our Connect, powered by our industry partners, with a legal update from Scott Peterson from CAR and Katie Johnson from NAR to go in depth on what we're seeing on from the legal front, which is massive right now, folks. If I'm a team leader, if I'm producing any real estate right now, I'm tuning into that. And we have our Excellence Awards. Tom Ferry has confirmed. So we will have Tom Ferry for our Excellence Awards. We're going to be opening up to the general membership as well. Look for information on that. I love talking to Tom. I'm going to tell him not to cuss a little bit, but y'all, thank you so much for joining us here on our first Connect and of 2021. And Stacy, Julie, Kathy, thank you guys all for coordinating, and from Helen, from Chase, and Sean from Planet Home. Thank you for being our sponsors.
Well, thank you so much, Nobu and Steve. That was wonderful. And so we've got our list, right? Call our friends and family, ask how they're doing, how we can help. Stockpile your capital. I think that's a Tom Ferry phrase. And then become an expert on the market. And we're so lucky to have DMAR to help us become those experts. So now we are excited to go to listing presentation. So I'm excited. And I just wanted to let you know, I did look up the census.gov page and put that into the chat that Steve was talking about, if you want to see how migration is happening. And then I think we have 7 listings to present today. So because this is our first time doing this, it's kind of it's our first time. So what we did is we asked everybody who had a listing to get that in by 9 p.m. last night, so that Jennifer from Ari Colorado could get that together and we could be fast and efficient. So I apologize to those of you who may not have seen that post about that, but just know if you've got a listing next month before the Connect, you're going to have to get it in the night before at 9 p.m. so that we can get it pulled up and be ready to do this efficiently. Those of you that did submit your listing for today, thank you so much. Jennifer is going to pull them up, and I am going to hopefully just be able to get the screen over to you. So Beth Ann Mott, if you're on, it looks like your listing is first. We'd love to have you be quick and efficient about your presentation. So if you can give us just the pertinent information, price, location, number of rooms, bathrooms, and something special about the house, that would be great.
Sure. So this would be a great first-time home buyer starter home. It's a ranch in Westminster, roughly about 94th and Lowell. As you can see, the kitchen has some updates, new cabinets, and it's got hardwood flooring, slate tile in the kitchen. There are 3 bedrooms on the main level. A couple of them they're using as an office. It's got some newer doors. It's got a full bath that you see here that has all tile surround, so some updates there. This is the master bedroom that has a half bath off the master. It has a partially finished basement. That's the half bath. There's the basement. It's got a non-conforming 4th bedroom that's in the basement. It wouldn't take very much to completely finish the basement. There's walls up, just add some carpeting. There's a walk-in closet for this for this bedroom. Again, it's non-conforming. There's it's 387,000. It's got a 1-car garage, evaporative cooler, and it's active and showing started today.
Thanks so much, Beth Ann. Get in line, people. All right. Is it Atlanta? I'll talk. Sorry, don't have my glasses on. Can't read that small. 12631 West 84th Circle.
It
Jennifer,
was Atlanta, Stacy, so you had that right.
I did. Yeah,
Yep.
Atlanta, are you on to present this? Atlanta Gonzalez. Okay, Tammy Marasia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a property that's got 6 bedrooms. It's 3 baths. It's on 35 acres in Brighton, and it has majestic views. The home was built looking at the mountains instead of 152nd Street, which a lot of properties do. And I don't know why they do that. This is multi-generational home. So that's another really big deal. In 2021, it has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath over the garage, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, main floor, and then 2 bedrooms, 1 bath in the lower level. It also has, they call these hobby farms. So you can have somebody bring some cattle, make some cash on it if you'd like. You can have some horses on it if you choose. It's up to you. And again, this one is, or apologize, they've 4,020 square foot on 35 acres. It does have a bath, or excuse me, a Quonset building on that. And there you go. You can do some hobbies. You can grow some food. You can and that's the lot picture. Again, majestic, right off of 76th and Bromley. The MLS number is 514-9599. And you do have permission to advertise this. Let's collaborate. And thank you so much. Tammy Marasia, Lux Denver Real Estate.
Thanks, Tammy. Okay, Danielle Davis.
Good morning. I'm Nina presenting for her with Painted Prairie. This is a brand new home by McStain Neighborhoods in the Painted Prairie community, which, if you're not familiar, centrally located near the Gaylord Resort. It is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,759 square feet of a bright open floor plan with lots of windows. There is the second floor has 2 bedrooms, the laundry room, that lovely master suite with the 5-piece bathroom. The basement has rough-in plumbing, radon mitigation system, tankless water heater. Solar does come standard to help save on those bills. There's also a main floor flex room for working in the office, home gym, virtual classroom, whatever. There are low HOAs, and it is priced at $526,516. Sorry, nice round number. And additionally, McStain is offering $2,500 towards closing cost incentives if your buyer uses their preferred lender. They have more information, and it's in the MLS to contact them directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is a great new community out there.
It is. Thank you for that shout out.
Yeah. Jenny. Let's see. I don't know if Jenny's there. So I'll just say this real quick. Looks like her listing is 2877 West 52nd Avenue, Unit 304 in Denver. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath with 776 square feet. And the price is $407,000. Okay, Ann Harrison Hicks, are you here? All right, I'll do the same thing for this one. This is 236 Mill Creek Road in Dumont, Colorado. List price is $1.7 million. It is a single family residence. And it is, let's see, 8 beds, 8 bathrooms, 5,639 square feet. I bet that's a beauty. All right, and Paula Workman. All right, looks like a new construction at 3500 North Columbine Street with a fall delivery.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I am.
okay, great. Go ahead, Paula.
To find me to unmute myself. Sorry.
That's okay.
We were optimistic with fall delivery with that, and then COVID happened. So anyway, it will be active a week from today. I will have pictures and so on. These are pictures from the last one that this builder built, and this one is very, very similar. And so it is state of the art, everything. It has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a main floor study, very open, high ceilings, fabulous master suite with a huge walk-in closet, heated floors, tankless water heater, just everything that your in-town buyer would expect from a new home. There is also an oversized 2-car garage. And call me. We're going on the market at $899,900. And by the time I have the pictures for this one, hopefully at the next meeting, it will already be gone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula. All right, so thank you everyone who got their listings in. We're excited about that. Jennifer, thank you so much for facilitating that. That was very helpful. Do you have any quick news from Ari Colorado that you'd like to share with us?
Good morning, everybody. And it was my pleasure to help with listing presentations this morning. What a great meeting. Just a quick update. We are still working remotely, but you can, of course, call or email our customer care team at any time. Our training and education classes are all being held via Zoom. So if you need that CE credit, or maybe you want to sharpen up those matrix skills before the busy buying and selling season, this is a great opportunity to do that. Don't forget, the data exchange and integration with Iris is live. So you can view Iris listings not only in Ari Colorado Matrix, but also in the Ari Colorado app. And that exchange data is included in your IDX feeds now. Like we talked about, I think towards the end of Steve's conversation, Zillow is now a brokerage. Therefore, they are no longer going to be a syndication option within Matrix, but they will be getting an IDX feed. So your listing should still go to Zillow via IDX. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to call our customer care team. We're happy to help you guys along the way.
Thanks, Jennifer. So I know most of us are so excited that we got back into data share with Iris. It's been very helpful.
Yeah, especially your northern people.
Yes, definitely. So thank you guys for all the work getting that done for us. All right, so we have 5 minutes left in today's meeting. So we have two things that we are going to accomplish. If you have a gratitude that you'd like to share, something that really is helpful to share gratitude for this year, or if you have a buyer need that you'd like to share. And Julie, I don't know how we're going to select people for this. Are we just going to let them pop on and talk?
That's a good question for buyer needs. Why don't you put it in the chat and then we can call you up for your buyer need.
Okay. I'm gonna take my opportunity to submit my buyer need while we're waiting for people to get theirs chatted in. So I have a buyer looking for about a ½ acre or more in the North Metro area, would like to be about 45 minutes from Longmont High School. They would like to have 4 bedrooms, at least 3 bathrooms that have at least a shower, and they will go up to $610,000. And they'd love to have an outbuilding also for their hobbies, such as Tammy Marisha was talking about with her listing. Okay, so Amy, is it Kamak? Would you like to talk about your buyer need?
Yeah, thank you. It's Kamak.
Kamak, thank you.
Rhymes with hammock, but yes. I have a buyer looking in the Crescendo neighborhood in Highlands Ranch, non-contingent, very well qualified, somewhat flexible on their timing, but in the next 12 months, preferably in the next 6 months, really, ready to go. So if anybody has anything coming up in that neighborhood, please let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Nobu, do you want to talk about your buyer need?
Yeah, sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute. Yeah, I've got a colleague coming in, Hawaii, by the way, and we're a deal compared to Hawaii. But he's looking for an income property while his wife is here studying at the medical school, and they want to buy an income property up to $1 million, at least 4 doors. It's pretty crazy in the investment property and things right now. But if you've got something coming up, send it my way and I can send it on to him and connect you guys if there's a match.
Awesome. Thank you, Nobu. All right. Mary Joy, it looks like maybe you've got a listing coming up. May have lost her. So I have another buyer need. Well, people are putting stuff in there. I have buyers that are looking for a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home with vaulted ceilings and a statement fireplace in Evergreen, Morrison, Ken Carl, and they will go up to 1.1 million. So if you've got anything coming up, please let me know. Let's see, Margie Schwartz.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a buyer who's looking for an acreage property in Elizabeth, Franktown, East Parker, anywhere around there, that would have at least 3 bedrooms and not be a total fixer-upper, for around $650,000.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margie. Okay.
Hey, Stacy.
Yes.
I have a grateful. My name's Scott Nordby, and grateful to get on here and see all these faces from different parts of the real estate industry, different companies. And then I love as an industry how we can work together and support each other, and been at this a long time. And just never gets old to me to see everybody's faces. So thanks for everybody for jumping on. Great work, Nobu. Glad to have you in town. I'm certainly grateful for you, and Stacy, great work moderating. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks so much. Well, there are a couple more things in here. Magdalena, I'm going to just read your grateful. She says, I'm grateful that this time has showed me to live more connected with people that I really care about and prioritize time. That's beautiful. And then Kathy Maslowski Jurgis, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I didn't. She has a buyer need after February 1st, Arvada area, minimum 2 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage, small yard with fence or able to get a fence. It can be smallish square footage, such as 1,500 total square feet plus or minus 20%, and they can go up to 420. And then Jenny Carter has a buyer need for a single family home, 425,000 and under, minimum 3 bedrooms in the South Metro Denver Castle Rock Parker area. And I think that, oh, Sherry Cree, buyer need up to 1.5 million in Genesee, Evergreen, or Morrison. So she and I are competing there. Love you, Sherry. So, and then I am just grateful that you all were able to be here today. I want to say one last quote to send you on your way. You're strong. You're a Kelly Clarkson song. You got this. That's Jonathan Van Ness. You guys have a great day. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next month on February 13th. Have a great day. Ooh, Aaron, send me your Morrison listing. I'll look it up. 103 Bear Creek Lane.